Welcome to Unlock Your Doors with Daniel and Melissa. Today we will be exploring the topic of beauty standards and how they impact women.
Yeah, so I guess for me, this is going to be a probably one-sided conversation because we were just hanging around at brunch today, and a topic came up that was kind of close to us about, at what stage do, I guess, mainly, I'm going to say mainly women, even though this does affect men, feel like you need to look better, and like how is this caused? Because I was saying to Melissa that my mates would never really tell me to, or like, you got to look more beautiful or any of that kind of we'd never have that kind of conversation. So I wanted to like ask her the question of where, if any, do these standards come from, and how does it make you feel?
Yeah, it's a big one. The standards come from many different places, and I don't mean to shame the patriarchy, but I think the objectification of women has definitely shaped the way that we see ourselves, and I guess the way that we conform to the culture around us, because if we don't fit in, we won't be seen, we won't be loved, and blah blah blah. That's just kind of the story. But as we were discussing today, this issue is so deeply ingrained in women, and it's not something that we might consciously think of, but it lives so deeply within our DNA. And you might get to a point, and the reason actually why we brought this up was because I think I've consciously chosen not to go down the injectable path and, conform to the beauty standards. Though there's a tiny little part of me that says, but what happens if I'm the only natural one and I fall behind, and, I feel like it's hard to put into words.
So can I jump in and say something here? It's like, it's a strange thing that I see in the movie world where women don't age anymore. It's kind of like, it's almost like it's disappearing. And if, like as a man, we just get wrinkly and old, and obviously men do this as well. So I'm not saying men don't get Botox and get work done. But if everyone keeps trying to look younger and younger and younger, like, does that become the new standard? Like, you have to get Botox and you have to get work done, because I feel like that's such a, like, being, like, holding a beauty standard is such an old way of thinking, but it's such a big industry that obviously everyone is a part of this. So, like, can you go against the grain, or is that like the wrong thing to do? I don't understand.
Yeah, I think this is the moral dilemma that a lot of women are having at the moment, and it's this internal conflict between the natural anti-conformist part versus I need to fit in, otherwise I won't, I'll fall behind. And yeah, it's a really tricky one. It's really, really tricky, and understanding, your why behind doing something is very, very important. But yeah, we're at a really scary stage at the moment where injectables are so affordable and they're so accessible, which means that the culture is changing quite rapidly. And yeah, what messages are we sending to the next generation? That they're just not acceptable as they are, and they're unlovable, and their worth is based on their appearance.
So I've got an interesting law, just a thought. It's obviously, doing this kind of stuff depends on context and what position in life you are. my question is, what happens if your mum looks younger than you do, or someone who's much, much older than you looks younger than you? Like, is it easy for you not to care, or is that is it kind of like add extra pressure into your own like world to look better than you do?
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, it's just this very strong internal conflict. It's a strong internal conflict, and I think that you know, you might have a family that is very much into the beauty standards, and then you might have a friendship group that's quite natural, and it's just about aligning with your own values and what you really believe. And you know, you might feel like conforming might allow you to fit into the family, but then that might also make you feel like you don't belong to your friends. So it's really just evaluating your values.
Anyways, do whatever you want. It's your choice, your body, your choice. We're not going to hold anything against anyone, so we just wanted to have a quick chat about that. So thanks for listening, and I guess we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you. Bye.